This is your instructor, and I'm going to be talking a little bit about what we have going on in week 16, the second of the last week of the semester, including your maps that are due. So your maps are due by Tuesday, by the end of the day, and the lab period will be open tomorrow from 2 to 5 for working on your maps and for map completion and printing. If you choose to print, you can also upload a digital version of the map. And you will also have a lab and review discussion this week as we move into this last week of the semester. So we've got a busy week ahead of us. And a little bit of information. Of course, we've got the registration that's happening right now, and hoping to see some of you folks in some of the other classes for the GIS certificate. The Intro to GIS class is not going to be offered again until fall, but the Digital Planet class is a class that is required for the certificate, as is the 1-unit GIS projects class. So those are some classes to think about. I decided, since we're working on maps this week and also kind of wrapping up a little bit of our concepts for the course, that I would present this map from one of my students from a few years ago. And he does a nice job here. He, excuse me, he lays out the map effectively with colors contrasting for different areas of open space ownership. He includes his name and the date. He includes a title. He includes a legend and a scale bar and a north arrow. And so those are some of the elements that I've asked for you to complete or to include on your maps. So here we are in week number 16. So I've got a brief summary, a 2-page summary on mapping the physical and human environments. And your lab this week and the reading and subsequent discussion will center on this same question. So browse through that, and we'll give you a little bit of, some of the things that we've actually talked about already, some of the essential elements of maps, essential types of maps, and also framing the physical and the human elements that are commonly mapped and some of the processes that go on with those as well. So this is your reading for the week, and that will again inform the discussion that you'll be having online. This video clip, what's the big deal with maps? It's a short one. It's only about 3 or 4 minutes. I think you'll enjoy it. It's rather amusing. Your map project assignment, again, you can upload your maps to this location, and I've also included a gallery of maps. And of course, one of the things that I know some of you are thinking about is what's the final map going to look like, and what sort of things need to be included. And I sent this discussion, or this announcement, out earlier today. And this particular announcement, if I can get it to come up, I review the map elements: title, grid, coordinates, north arrow, defined scale, legend, graphical elements or photos, which are optional, supplemental text, which is important. You're not going to be producing a summary report along with this, so you will want to include some maps, some text and some of the essential information related to your map. So I thought I'd start off this discussion about producing your maps by showing you an example map. This is actually an award winner from last year's ESRI conference, and it's quite a nice map. They include the title of the map, they include a subtitle of the map, a image to give you a picture, to give you an idea of what this place looks like. They give you a text description. They give us an inset map and both a scale listed as a ratio, 2 scale bars. They give us a legend for the map. There's actually another inset map So they're showing us two different renderings of kind of where this is located. There's a north arrow included down here. And then, of course, the map itself. And that map, of course, has elements, colors, lines, and so forth that are explained in the legend. And then we can also see that there's a map grid on there. All right, well, needless to say, your maps will not be quite as fancy as that. And some of you may be doing your maps manually. I've been suggesting to some folks that they may want to operate in the ArcGIS environment. And so I've just brought up a base map of a place in England, or excuse me, in Michigan. And you know, we can add in different layers. For most of you guys, you're adding your own layers into this. And so one of the ways that you can do this, this is kind of the simplest form, is to use this draw menu. And when you're on the drawing menu, you can add simple rectangles. You can add more complex polygons. Okay, and then once you've done this, sorry, my screen had to refresh there. You also have the ability to insert text onto your map. And so this is kind of a simple way to just doctor up and add some of your own information related to these maps. You'll notice these blue anchor bars. If I want to select a given graphic that I've put on my map, I can look at the properties of that if I wanted to, change the colors. Again, this is you're not creating true GIS data here, but rather simply adding things that are annotating or altering the appearance of the map that will be printed. Again, not producing genuine GIS data as such. Okay, so again, just added another one of these little graphic elements there. I haven't actually been there, so I better label it appropriately. Now, one of the things that some of you will be doing is trying to add GPS coordinates to your maps. And you can actually add in a coordinate. Actually, I have to make sure that your coordinates match the... Oops, this is actually listing it in lat long, so this actually is not going to give me the results that I want. I think I'm going to need to put this in meters, I think. I just grabbed these coordinates. Uh-oh. I'll show you how I originally located the point that I was wanting to map. So if I identify, it actually gives me the coordinate values. And if I wanted to actually map that point, and again, you may have collected this with a GPS unit. Put that guy in there. And add the point. There it is. It appears on our map. And again, label this thing GPS map location. Okay, so that's the map itself. Now, of course, an important element of this is that we're going to want to make sure that we can represent this appropriately on a... Get rid of some of this stuff. Creating what we call the map layout. So when you're in ArcMap, it'll come up with a default layout, but you can actually choose from... I'm going to go ahead and close down this draw menu for the moment. And in this layout toolbar, you can actually choose different templates, which is how I came up with this look. And again, this just gives us a general feel for the area that we're mapping. And in this case, they've designated an area at the bottom for the title. They've designated an area for the map scale. They've given us a little block in here for the legend. And that will get us started. It's just kind of a starting point for us. One of the things that is not included in here is a grid with coordinates. And so what I'm going to do, now that I've selected the map itself, I'm going to go to look at its properties, and you can actually elect to include a grid, a new grid, and we'll use the graticule, and let's use a measured grid because we're in meters, and they've selected some intervals here. Let's see if those intervals work out, and we'll use major division ticks. You can play around with these variables, and let's go ahead and apply that. And it's thinking about it. As I mentioned in the email, for some of you, you may end up electing to print out a map first and then adding in some coordinate numbers. For example, the coordinate that I added in a few minutes ago, if that were a GPS coordinate, you might choose to add that manually. Okay, there we go. So I've got coordinate values included. A little distracting with those lines. I might pull those lines out of there. You do have an insert menu. So for example, if I wanted to insert a north arrow on the map, I tend to lean towards the simpler north arrows, but you can use your own judgment on that. Once you have it selected, you could add that into your map. You see the legend. You could create a legend. There is a way to insert a legend, but this will only choose things that are actually GIS layers. Again, you see some options for inserting scale bar, and then you also have the ability to insert text. Okay, so in this, it actually selects the location of the text, which is a little unfortunate. But I'm going to go ahead and grab a hold of this text, and I'm going to drag it down here. I hope, there it goes. And now that I have that thing selected down there, I'm going to say so just basic information, name, include the date on here, and then we'll go ahead and insert this guy. And there it is. Looks like I should force a line return there. Could make it fit. So again, I know some of you are not terribly familiar with this ArcGIS environment, and so I would recommend that you take advantage of coming in tomorrow. We will have some time to provide assistance both during the tutor hour time, which is from 11 to 1, and also from 2 to 5 o'clock during our scheduled lab. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and leave it at that. Have a nice evening.